foot. What I need now is some advice. Sit down. Katharina did as she was told. I have to get a gift. Birthday? Exactly. I'll give you the information. It's a woman, age 43, in good shape, sells wedding dresses for a living. She's from Aosta. She has good taste, and she's quite well off. The inspector took a moment to think it over. Personal friend? That's my fucking business. Understood. Rule out flowers, scarves, plants, jewellery, books, perfume, and CDs. I need to know more about her. Is this Nora Tadioli? The one with the shop in the centre of town? Rocco nodded without a word. Congratulations, dottore. Nice get. Thanks, but as per aforementioned comment, my own fucking business. How far out on a limb are you interested in going? Not far. Just consider it a tactical move, keeping the status quo. Why? Because otherwise, you could give her a diamond ring. That's not going far. That's handing yourself over to the enemy, bound hand and foot. Katharina smiled. Let me think it over. Does she have any hobbies? As far as I know, she likes to go to the movies, but I'd avoid DVDs. She goes swimming twice a week and works out 3 times a week. She's a cross-country skier. And I think she bikes, too. Who are we talking about here? Lindsay Vonn? Right now it's... Rocco glanced at his watch. 10:15. Do you think you can come up with an idea by noon? I'll do my best. Just then, Officer Italo Pierron threw open the door and strode into the room. Along with Rispoli, Pierron was the only other officer Rocco considered worthy of being on the force. He was allowed to walk into the Deputy Police Chief's office without knocking and address him by his first name outside the 4 walls of police headquarters. He glanced briefly at Katharina and nodded hello. Dottore? The young officer's face was pale and alarmed. Rocco asked. Italo, what's wrong? Something urgent. Go on. A call came in. Apparently a gang of burglars have barricaded themselves in the apartment of Patrizio and Esther on Via Brocherelle. Barricaded themselves? That's the term used by Paolo Rastelli, a retired warrant officer who's also half-deaf. That's what I managed to piece out, but in the background I could hear a woman screaming, they're inside, they've turned the place upside down. Rocco nodded. Let's go. Can I come too? Asked Katharina. Better not. I need you here. Stay close to the telephone. Roger. As they zipped through city intersections with their siren off, Rocco pulled a cigarette out of Italo's pack and looked out at the perfectly ploughed streets. The city government does its job up here, eh? In Rome, you get a couple of flakes of snow, and there are more deaths than from the start of the August vacations. Then he lit the cigarette. Why don't you buy camels? I think Chesterfields are disgusting. Italo nodded silently. I know that, Rocco, but I like Chesterfields. Make sure you don't drive into a wall or run over any old ladies. Italo turned into Corso Battaglione Aosta, downshifted past the truck, and accelerated sharply. If you weren't a cop, you'd be a perfect getaway driver for an armoured car robbery. Why'd you say that, Rocco? Are you planning something along those lines? They both laughed. You know something, Italo? If you ask me, you ought to grow a goatee or a beard. You think? You know, I'd thought about that myself. I don't have any lips. Exactly. You look less like a weasel. I look like a weasel? I never told you that. I've met lots of people who look like weasels, but never on the police force. After a 6-month acquaintance, the 2 men understood each other clearly. Rocco liked Italo. He trusted him after what the 2 of them had done some time ago, intercepting that load of marijuana on a Dutch semi and splitting a nice big haul of several €1,000. Italo was young, and in him Rocco glimpsed the same motivation that had led the deputy police chief to undertake his police career. Pure chance. At the fateful moment, when the deputy police chief's classmates were starting life on the streets, working with blades and bullets, he just happened to put on the lawman's uniform. Nothing more than that. For people who were born in Trastevere at the start of the 60s into blue-collar families.